Hello and welcome to the Spooky Chris podcast. My name is Chris Ringler. I am the aforementioned Spooky Chris, and this is my short form podcast. Hopefully you found it on my website, spookychris.com. If not, check it out. You can find all the info about me, my books, my movies, and all the weird stuff I get up to lately. So as I record this, we are officially, I think this can be called mid-July 2021. And it doesn't take long to really spend on a news site, watching the news, your social feeds, an anecdotal look around the world and to kind of see we're in trouble. The hangover from the election cycle has not gone. The pandemic is still around. We are officially in a climate crisis. You know, it's you could take the alphabet and go through each letter and find something to concern yourself with and to worry about. And it would be legitimate, whether people believed it was or not. It's still legitimate. We have a thing where we like to downplay people's fear and concern because it's not our concern or fear. I like to call it overreaction. But this is a scary time, to be sure. But as scary as it is, I thought I figured it's always good to step back and look beyond that. That's the luxury of history, I guess, is you can kind of see the mistakes we made in the hopes of not repeating them, which doesn't seem to happen very often. It seems like we keep falling in the same ruts. But you can also see the bigger picture in that things do change. Things do move forward. The world progresses. I've done, podcasts, I think, like this before, but it's always good as a reminder, just for myself and I think for you and anybody who might hear this, that all is not lost. That there's something special about being out with friends on a late summer night around a fire. There's something magical about drive-in movies. The holidays, whichever holiday you might hold dear and acknowledge, those are times to take stock of your life and the people in it and where you're at. As I record this, so like I say, we're in mid-July in Michigan. And it's a green season, it's a wet season, it's a hot season, but it's a green season of summer camps and late night fires and storytelling. I remember when I was much younger, getting my friends together and sitting around the fire at my folks' house and telling stories and laughing and just spending time together. I remember times when I lived in my first apartment. I lived about 15 minutes away from a big park that some friends and I would go and wander in the middle of the night. We'd just walk through it and talk and freak each other out. I remember my second apartment. We would, during the summer, we would go on, I had roof access, and we would go on the roof, a bunch of us, and sit on the roof and talk about our plans for the zombie apocalypse, and what we would do and what the best plans were as we sat above downtown Flint, Michigan. Even in the worst of times, there's magic, whether we see it or not. It's all a perspective. that break you needed, that friend that you wanted to hear from, that love that you found, you thought you'd lost. All of those things can come together. That's the thing about hope, is that it's the last embers to burn out, but they're the ones that burn the longest. Because we want hope so desperately that we stoke them without even knowing it. There's hope that even today there's young artists that are discovering their passion. There are young leaders that are seeing this world and what's happening in it and are learning from it and learning what not to do. There are musicians who are being inspired by these times and who are writing the next protest ballad, the next anthem. There are filmmakers who are crafting your next nightmare or making the next tone poem to speak to your heart. All around us, there are people creating things that will inspire us and set us to dreaming, and in turn inspire other people as we are inspired. All around us, people are struggling but surviving. And they're surviving because they're reaching out and they're being reached to. We don't always have to be waiting for someone to reach to us. We can reach to them. We don't have to give in to the hatred and the greed and the fear of this time. We can cherish one another. We can cherish the good in the world, the beauty of it. We can look at this earth and see that it's a gift and not something that we were given by God or anything else. That we are here on borrowed time, that this world is loaned to us, and that it's for us to kind of treat it the best we can so we can pay it forward. We don't have to be petty or childish or vindictive or vengeful. We don't have to forgive, but we can work to forget. We can work to move on. We can work to free ourselves of the chains that keep us in the past. Because the only thing in the past are graves. There's hope in our past because we did overcome. And we continue to overcome. There's hope for the future because whatever we can do can build to that. Good or ill. But you never know. I mean, I've said a million times. I mean, I'm a guy who tends to look on the dark side of things and has a whole treasure chest of regrets and misery. But 10 years ago, like I've said, as I repeat myself hundreds of times, 10 years ago, I got lucky in that I had a dream. I had friends that bought into my dream, and we put something together that I never, ever would have thought would have been possible as a miserable, suicidal teenager, like who had to be kind of thrown a lifeline. I never, as that kid, would have ever dreamed I'd meet the people I'd meet, that I would have a kid, that I'd be married, that I'd be in this life that I never would have imagined. I never would have imagined having books out. Whether I put them out or someone else did, just the idea. When I was doing zines, I never would have guessed that. I never would have imagined that I would be friendly with one of the inspirational writers I had as a kid, who really was one of the kind of parents of my style and passion for writing. It's when you are in the deep darkness, that's all you can see. You can't see the embers of hope. but they're there. And it's what always drives me crazy is people, rail on the Marvel films. Oh, they're ruining movies and this and that. To some kid, to some adult out there, to someone, those may be lifelines. They may be the next rung. I know for a long time I was always like, shoot, I'm just going to live to the next Martin Scorsese movie, and then we'll go from there. They may be the spark of joy someone has that gets them through a day, a week, a month, a year. They're movies for sure, but they're magic too. We forget so easily the magic in art, in the music that we listen to with our windows down, that we're so familiar with, we can sing along to, hum along to, that we frown at when we hear at a grocery store, because it's just, I've heard it so many times. The movies that we watch to go to bed, to calm ourselves. The poems that we write and were written to us, that said the things that someone couldn't say with their own mouth. There's hope, because there's us, and there's you, and there's me, and there's everybody. There's hope because tyrants die. Hatred burns away. Selfishness, greed, it can only take you so far. You can only have so many things until you have nothing to show for it. As the saying goes, you can have all the toys, but if there's nobody to play with them with you, what good are they? We've become a culture of isolation, and it's easier that way because there are so many hateful ideals and opinions. But it doesn't have to be that way, because not everyone is like that. One thing I do miss from the world as we knew it before are these art festivals and these conventions and these places for people of like mind to gather and to laugh and to have fun. Laughter breaks so many barriers. You can hate someone to the end of time, but if you can laugh with them, you connect with them. You see the world through the same eyes for a moment. And that's not to say that it's easy and that that these issues that are going on go away. So many people kind of put their heads down and they pretend, and it drives me crazy. I see it on social media all the time. And in real life, where people just put their heads down like, I don't want to deal with it. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of the politics. Everything that was frustrating and upsetting to them was politics, and they're just tired of politics. They're tired. But the world is politics. The world is other people controlling the things that keep you safe and healthy and happy. Welcome to politics. So you can't escape it, but you can push through it. You can make those connections. You vote. You speak up. You stop saying yes. You stop acting like you don't see the things that are happening. I'm not one to go and protest. I have too many things to lose, unfortunately, and it's a luxury. It's a luxury as a middle-aged white male that I have. But there's other ways I can help. There's other ways you can help. The problems don't go away. But that's why we need that hope even more, is because we need something to remind us why we're fighting, what we're fighting for. And it's not so we can go to Applebee's. It's not so we can go to the gym. It's so we can see the people we love. It's so we can be with them. It's so we can do the things we love. It's so we can live a life not fearing for the safety of our children. It's working towards getting the people that need emotional and psychological help that help, so they don't break down, so they don't fall apart, so they don't damage us or themselves. It's working to make sure that tomorrow and the next day and the next day, the sun keeps shining. And the depression and the self-doubt and the fear, all that doesn't go away. But you counterbalance it with the hope. You work to pull yourself out of yourself, to reach out to people when you need them, to find the things that make you happy and give you joy, and to cling to them. And if somebody says it's stupid or small or childish, so be it. Because they don't have to live your life, you do. And while they have a luxury where they get to say awful things, you don't have that luxury because you have to live with having said those things. And that's a crappy thing to live with. Friend, I wish you all of the hope in the world. It's my hope that in some small way I've reminded you of the fire inside and the brighter one outside and the one that we can find together. Take care, be safe. Day by day we're going to get closer and closer to beating this COVID and getting back to a world that looks much closer to what we remember. I am Chris Ringler. This is the Spooky Chris Podcast. You can find all my info and stuff and books. I have 20-some books I'd love for you to check out. SpookyChris.com. Take care.